everybody. This footage right here, CENTCOM dropped it. 140 Iranian military targets going dark in a single night. Missile sites, naval assets, ammunition depots, coastal surveillance grids, one by one, systematically lights out. Let's rewind a few seconds because what just happened over the last 72 hours in the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most consequential military sequences of this entire conflict. And there's a real chance that you missed the order of events that made it so devastating. So we're going to cover all of that. But before we get into it, the IRGC's chief negotiator, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, Speaker of the Iranian Parliament and Tehran's lead on the Islamabad MOU, he went on X and he posted this: "The era of one-sided deals is over. We told you, keep your word or pay the price." Bold words, but the problem, while Ghalibaf was typing that, CENTCOM was already pressing execute on Strike Package 3. The era of one-sided deals was, in fact, over, just not in the direction that he meant. And tonight we're breaking down how the U.S. military ran 3 consecutive nights of precision strikes, kept 800 commercial vessels moving through an active war zone, and held the most important maritime choke point on the planet open, while Iran was claiming they had slammed it shut. We're talking about our fighter jets, our drones, naval assets, and the kind of sequenced air power campaign that takes years of doctrine and hours of execution to perfect. And then stay around for the global roundup section because we're going to cover how Russia turned doorbells, ring cameras, into battlefield ISR nodes. So that was wild, and we'll talk about how it's being countered as well. That's about 3/4 of the way through the video, so stay around for that. So Iran came to the Strait of Hormuz ready to go all night. CENTCOM brought 300 JDAMs. Only one party walked away satisfied. And then this is exactly what Ghalibaf posted. So remember, he said the era of one-sided deals is over, and then he posted a snippet from the MOU, which reads, "Upon the signing of this MOU, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa." So Iran's like, we're doing safe passage by striking these different cargo ships. This is for their good that we're sending a Shahed drone through the bridge of these different ships. It actually helps them a lot. We're really here to just help you guys, and our help happens to look like a 50-kilogram warhead on a Shahed drone. We're really good guys, and you should really let us date your sisters. I mean, that just shows the hypocrisy of where the Iranian regime is standing. But if we rewind 72 hours, the order of events here is wild. The IRGC is going to attack the Cyprus-flagged container ship, the GFS Galaxy, in the Strait of Hormuz. They set it ablaze, significant engine room damage. The crew was forced to abandon ship, even though Iran's like, we're here to help. This is us helping, blowing up your ship. One crew member is actually still missing from that ship. So yeah, Iran, thank you for your help killing these innocent mariners just trying to make a living going through the Strait of Hormuz. Then the IRGC declares the strait closed, claiming vessels were using unauthorized routes. So we're going to blow you up to keep you from going into an unauthorized route. I mean, this just shows you guys the level of craziness that these mafia bosses, I think mafia boss at this point is almost a compliment. And then they fired what they called was a warning shot at a second vessel, stopping it dead in the water. U.S. Central Command didn't issue a strongly worded statement. They didn't send an X post only. They issued a targeting list. CENTCOM's public response: Iran does not control the strait. Then they added 3 more. Traffic is flowing. Let's actually pop to X right now, and let's look at exactly what CENTCOM said, and let's look at some of the targets that were likely hit. Hey everybody, here we are on X, and I want to walk you through what U.S. Central Command has been posting. It's very interesting. So, claim the Iranian commander for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Navy, recently said on state-owned media that no foreign vessels may pass through the Strait of Hormuz without being identified, tracked, and monitored by Iranian forces. Fact, Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. It remains an international waterway. U.S. forces are positioned and prepared to keep it that way. Then check this out. This is a video of what's going on or was going on just last night. Could be going on today as well. We'll see how today plays out. So, U.S. Navy F-18 Super Hornets that look like a strike variant F-18, then the F-35 blasting off nighttime sorties, early morning sorties, and the vertical launch systems on this destroyer absolutely decimating coastal hideouts, IRGC headquarters, radar sites, communications relays. F-16 up ahead in full afterburner, Max Afterburner, if you will. Seeing that thing going towards the battle. That looks like a F-35 headed that way, single engine on that one as well. And then strike footage, a lot of ballistic missiles being struck. And this is very interesting because Iran is saying that all the ballistic missiles they've launched are hitting the targets. Well, obviously, most of them aren't getting off the ground. They are launching at Gulf partners right now. We know a lot of interceptions have happened over the last 24 hours. That was a nice ballistic missile strike right there. Looked like a 500-pound JDAM. And then a truck, likely filled with drones, getting absolutely hammered. And then that target was blurred. So interesting why the target there was blurred out. But yeah, hitting some sensitive areas and locations. And remember, all this is scrubbed to make sure they're not giving any tip-offs to the IRGC, how to hide their different vehicles or targets better. This strike right here, right next to a radar tower, a radio tower right there, likely how the IRGC communicates, but they didn't get the message that if they mess around, they're going to find out from CENTCOM. So we talk a lot about military systems on this channel, and every jet, every tank, every missile in the U.S. arsenal depends on one metal America stopped mining nearly a decade ago, tungsten. And Washington just woke up to that problem in a big way. $12 billion invested through Project Volt and another $30 billion at the Critical Minerals Ministerial from the U.S. government, and the Pentagon has already started spending to restart domestic production. The Iran war has made it undeniable. America can't fight a modern war on foreign supply chains. That's where Volt Strategic Mining comes in. Trading under KNOX in Canada and KNXFF in the U.S., Volt is building what could be America's most strategic tungsten portfolio. Flagship project in Nevada, a proven historic mine that operated under a defense minerals exploration contract in World War II. And it's estimated that that site could include 168,000 tons of tungsten oxide. In today's prices, that's valued at 30 to 50 billion. So Washington has made this a national priority. Volt is positioned right in the middle of it. The link is in the description. Click that link to check out Volt, and a special thanks to Volt Strategic Mining for making today's video possible. And then just bringing you guys in on the Strait of Hormuz here. So this is where the kinetic action is taking place. A lot of people have talked about, why does Iran still have a lot of these sites left? Well, they have a lot of them. As you can see, even if we just come in down here to Jask, this is probably one of the places that has been hit as well. But even just coming into this little random naval base down here, remember, Iran takes all of its treasure and they put it into their military sites, specifically the sites that have the ability to help them extort the Strait of Hormuz. So here we've got a comms tower, EWR towers. This is a massive radar location here. So I would be very surprised if these were still standing. We got a radar here. It looks like a fuel storage depot there. And then big antennas here, as you can see the shadow. And then this is like a radar dish, but they don't want you to know which direction it's looking, right? So it's hidden so that they can basically put it in a direction wherever they want and not allow anybody to see what they're looking at. But just a random location here called Jask Naval Base. And then look at the size of these antennas here. I mean, these dishes give them the ability to track ships in the Strait of Hormuz, potentially even multi-use, controlling drones and things like that. So this is just something that you can't let them have. So let's just stand next to this thing and look at the sheer size of this. I'm not sure if Google Earth will give us the ability to see it that direction, but yeah, you can see just how much of a shadow that casts, and it's pointed right there, right towards that choke point, the international choke point of the Strait of Hormuz, which the IRGC naval generals are saying they fully control, and they're basically shifting the words in the MOU to be those guys that are walking around the neighborhood. They're like the dogs that are peeing on every fire hydrant. We own that. We own that. We own that. No, IRGC, you don't. And that's what CENTCOM is telling them right now. A lot of these different sites, obviously multi-use sites, launch vehicles. So let's just take a quick look here. So another comm site, right? This is kind of the place where the blockade was. But again, launch sites, communications towers, comm sites. Oh yeah, these are just Temu distribution facilities. Yeah, all these different roads and warehouses. We just get products from China, like fireworks, and we help the United States celebrate the 4th of July. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. But you can see here, comms tower here, launch sites trying to protect probably Bavar 373s, more launch sites here as well, comm sites, and then state police, IRGC. Yeah, we're state police. We're here for the benefit of the people. We're only going to help kill about 40 to 50,000 people. So we're really good guys. That's kind of the statement that I could hear coming out of the state police and the IRGC. Hopefully, a lot of these IRGC headquarters have gone bye-bye and basically been wiped off the map by CENTCOM. So we just looked at the targets, and we know that within hours, Strike Package 3 was complete. Approximately 140 Iranian military targets struck in one night, bringing the week's total to more than 300. The campaign was ordered by the commander-in-chief with one explicit mission: degrade Iran's ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial vessels freely transiting the Strait. Pete Hegseth didn't dress it up either. He said Iran made a poor choice, and now they pay. So Iran basically declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. CENTCOM just heard, oh, it's open hunting season on the IRGC. But let's talk about what 3 nights of American air power actually looked like. 3 strike packages, each one broader and bigger than the last. Each one basically doing squats and not only doing curls. These strike packages don't just stand by the curl bar. That's an IRGC move, standing there looking like an upside down triangle. This strike package was roughly 80 targets just in night 1, 90 targets in night 2, and now the wave 3, 140 targets. The full menu: missile and drone launch sites, naval capabilities, ammunition storage facilities, communication networks, and coastal surveillance locations. CENTCOM specified the munitions delivery: precision munitions launched by land and sea-based fighter aircraft, drones, and naval assets. So from a fighter pilot's perspective, likely F-18s blasting off the carrier, F-35s, as we just saw, dropping 500-pound bombs. And then CENTCOM flexed this photo of the F-16 with multiple APKWS rocket stations. That just shows that CENTCOM is very aware of how many drones Iran is still launching. Also, that F-16 loaded down with GBU-54s. The fact that the GBU-54 can be used as a laser-guided bomb or a GPS bomb is great for high-threat environments. Because in a high-threat environment, if your laser is on a target and you have to threat react and your laser goes off the target, the bomb could go off the target. But with a GBU-54, it'll go to the last known position of where that laser was. So as a fighter pilot, if you're going to threat react, you make sure you turn your laser off first, do your threat reactions, and then you can turn your laser back on, or just know that that GBU-54 is going to guide right into that target because of the advanced technology on that bomb. The strike package, all these different assets going in, likely the stealth fighters first, kicking the door in, being the massive door kickers that are also carrying joint direct attack munitions, 2,000 pounders, especially on the F-15Es. This gives the U.S. military the clear advantage in the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran is going to fire back, as we know, right? This is a video right here of them launching ballistic missiles. They've blurred out pretty much everything else. Yeah, they got the guy saluting, holding the flag, saluting like, yeah, we're cowards, launching at civilian neighborhoods, trying to hit U.S. bases, probably not even really aiming most of them at the end of the day, just trying to get as many of them as they can airborne. This is what the IRGC does. This is all they have left. Ballistic missiles, drones, hiding them in certain coastal areas, and it looks like the U.S. military is absolutely taking the gloves off. 300 targets hit, so Iran's going to be blasting these ballistic missiles like that video we just watched from the center of the country, north of the country, different areas where they think they can hide out. And they're also using a C-802, that is a reverse-engineered NOR missile from China, and that is a big range. It's said to have over a 100 nautical mile range, and it can be used to strike ships, so that's likely what the IRGC is focusing on as well, the ballistic missiles and the Chinese C-802. The missile barrages against Gulf states are a real capability that they have. It has reach and it has danger, but militarily, Iran is burning through a finite magazine against hardened targets protected by active integrated air defense systems. Each IRGC fast boat that gets taken out by a U.S. attack helicopter, A-10, F-16, MQ-9 drone, each radar site that goes dark from a harm missile, each ammunition depot that goes up in flames is systematically reducing Iran's capability. But again, they're a proxy army, they're a proxy force, but if I was to be in charge, if I was king for a day, I would say keep lining them up until they absolutely have basically nothing left in that magazine, which could take a few months. You made it to the global roundup, my friend, so here's some hot topics going on around the globe. Dutch intelligence agencies, domestic security service, and military intelligence just exposed a large-scale Russian cyber operation they're calling Laundry Bear. Yeah. Laundry Bear. Could we have worked on the name a little bit? That's okay. Here's what it was. Kremlin-affiliated hackers compromised civilian internet connection cameras, doorbell cameras, home security systems, intercom units positioned along NATO military transport routes in the Netherlands and other European member states. The objective was real-time ground surveillance of weapon systems rolling towards Ukraine. No satellites, no drones, just a doorbell camera running factory default passwords with a Russian operator on the other end of the app, unfortunately. The Dutch intelligence specifically noted it's the same basic technique that Israeli intelligence and CIA operatives used to locate former Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei before the strikes that opened the Iran war. Enemy battlefield ISR running through what amounts to a $40 Amazon device on your door. So it's kind of wild because your neighbor's Ring camera could basically become someone's eyes on the battlefield. And that brings us to the 40 chess strategic analysis section. So let's talk about where the board sits right now. Iran's negotiating position is structurally broken in a way that looks irreversible at the moment. Ghalibaf posted that the era of one-sided deals is over while Iran is trying to get a one-sided deal in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran signed the Islamabad MOU committing to safe passage through the Strait. They immediately violated it by attacking multiple ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and U.S. forces are still escorting ships through the Strait. Not as many as before the conflict, but they're actually getting ships through. This is a hostage that Iran can't fully ransom. They are somewhat, but they lost the combination to their own lock at this point. 80 mines are planted. That's a huge obstacle for them. But it looks like Iran is just trying to extort the international waterway while bending and mending words, mincing words, blending words, peppering words, whatever you want to call it, shifting around the board to what they think everybody's going to be dumb and think that, oh yeah, Iran can do this. They can just bring the ships up by their coast and collect a toll. I mean, it's pretty interesting. The MOU only said 60 days. Literally, they only had to not strike ships for 60 days, and Iran couldn't do it. They're like a crack addict when it comes to hitting these cargo ships. It's like an IRGC general sitting in one of the control towers, and they're like, just don't hit any ships for 60 days. And he's like, I can't. I haven't had a hit of hitting a ship with a Shahed drone in 12 hours. I can't take it anymore. They're like, that guy needs to go to rehab. Like, what does rehab look like? Oh, rehab is a place we send them where they don't strike ships for 24 hours. But as you guys can see, the rhetoric is ramping up to level 11. Looks to me like CENTCOM is absolutely taking the gloves off against Iran's plans to have a toll booth backed up by a legal theory. I mean, the shifting here, going back and forth, is so wild. Like, Ron Burgundy is sitting there like, I'm not even mad. That's amazing. So there you go, guys. 3 nights of American air power, 300 targets, 800 ships gone through the Strait of Hormuz, 400 million barrels of crude have made it through. Iran declared the strait is closed, but the strait is actually open, just not in the way that it was open before. It's looking a little bit different. Basically, the U.S. military looks to be controlling the southern half. What do you guys think happens from here?